Recently, we've really been talking a lot about live bears and Lake Tanganyikan cichlids here in the fish tank barn. So let's talk about one of the species that I've had in the fish barn since November of 2018, the Severum. Severums are one of my favorite large fish in the aquarium hobby. While they do get quite large, they really do have a perfect personality for your home aquarium. These fish are not terribly aggressive, but also do have enough attitude to stand up for themselves and not allow themselves to be bullied by larger or fish of similar size. While there are a few different species of Severums, we're going to focus on the most common, the Heros fasciatus. You can find these fish in a few different color morphs, from green, gold, and red shoulder, all of which make stunning additions to your aquarium. Severums in the wild are found in the Amazon River area of South America. Like I said earlier, these fish do get quite large, topping out at about 8 to 10 inches long, but also getting very tall. Some circles even refer to these as poor man's discus. Given this size, I really wouldn't recommend getting these fish in anything smaller than a 75-gallon aquarium, even though some sources on the internet will tell you that they do fine in a 55. I would consider Severums to be extremely hardy, but with any large cichlid, you will need to ensure that you have adequate filtration. I would highly recommend either a sump, hang-on back, or canister filter to ensure optimum water quality. While many sources online will recommend a pH range from 6.5 to 7.5, my Severums are doing just fine where my water has a pH of 7.8 to 8.0. From a dietary perspective, these fish are omnivorous and are not picky eaters and will readily consume a wide variety of frozen, flake, and pellet foods. From a tankmate perspective, Severums will pair nicely with a lot of your peaceful South and Central American cichlids. I currently have this pair in a 245-gallon tank with a large variety of geophagus, an electric blue acara, this Mesoheros ultramaculatus, a variety of smaller South American cichlids, as well as these scissor-tail rasboras that I use as dithers and schooling fish in this tank. These fish will also do fine with angelfish and other similarly sized cichlids. You could also try them with some of the more aggressive species like Jack Dempsey's, Oscars, or green terrors, since they do have enough attitude to stand up for themselves. But you should have a backup plan to either move the fish that's being the aggressor or the fish that's being the bully to a separate tank if the need arises. I would avoid putting these fish with the larger, more aggressive South and Central American cichlids like red devils, dovi, and the like, since they're pretty apt to get bullied by these fish. If you're looking for some schooling fish options, Severums will do fine with the larger barb, tetra, and rasbora species, but I would avoid the smaller species to avoid them being eaten by the Severums. These fish are not plant safe and will either eat or uproot most of your plant species. In the past, I've tried a variety of different plant species and none of them have worked out. But if you're willing to give it a try, I would maybe try a floating plant like a hornwort, or maybe putting something like water wisteria or something at the top. While I have had my Severum spawn in this aquarium, I've never raised the young. Telling the sexes apart of Severums is not particularly easy, especially when they're young. Other than venting the fish, which I would only recommend for your experienced fish keepers, you could look at the finnage to determine the sex. Males will generally have a pointier caudal and anal fin, while the females are more rounded. Your common species of Severums are egg layers that lay their eggs on flat pieces of wood or stone. Well, like I said earlier, I've not raised the fry, but from my understanding, the fry are fairly easy to raise using crushed up flakes, live baby brine shrimp, or any other food of similar size. So I hope you enjoyed learning about one of my favorite South American cichlids. These fish are a great beginner fish and definitely great for your larger aquariums. So with that being said, stay safe, stay fishy, and I'll catch you on the next episode.